Welcome back to On the Diamond Into the Deep. I am your host, as always, Mahal. We are back after a massive series win at T-Mobile Park against the Atlanta Braves. The World Series favorites? Question mark? The Atlanta Braves. A series win, a massive series win, and a series win that had Game 3 gone a little bit more their way, and had the umpire not given 1.2 runs according to umpire scorecards to the Atlanta Braves, maybe this game goes the other way. Had Mitch Haniger caught a foul ball that went in and out of his glove, maybe this game goes the other way, and maybe you sweep the Atlanta Braves. Similar to the Arizona series, this was a series you could have swept, and that's swept, and that is what is incredibly frustrating. Mariners face Houston this weekend, first matchup against the Astros, who have been struggling. They have been very much so struggling, and the Mariners need to continue that. They've had a little bit of a streak here the past week, having a little bit better play, but the Mariners need to send them back into the depths, and they sent down Jose Abreu this week. They are lost. Chas McCormick is injured. Mariners will face Ronel Blanco, Framber Valdez, and Hunter Brown, and Brown has been struggling this year, so we'll get into that. But let's start with the Atlanta Braves series. A Mariners series win. They won 2 out of 3, winning the first 2, losing the third. Bryce Miller, game 1, was dominant. He was dominant. Unfortunately, the bats, for the most part, fell silent until the last pitch of the game. Until the 9th inning. Jorge Polanco, ground ball through the right side, gets a little quick base hit, and Mitch Garver comes up. Goes up 3-0. Then takes a couple strikes. He gets a cutter at the top of the zone. And he crushes it. Mitch Garver sent this pitch off the stairs, the top of the stairs, out in left field above the bullpen. Almost to the second deck. Almost to the bleachers. I was on my way home from something that night. I was driving in the car. I had not watched much of any of this game. I'd watched the first couple innings, and then I had to go, and I'd listened through about the third or fourth, and then I had not paid attention at all for about an hour or two. Hour and a half. I come back, I get in my car, I listen to the last out of the bottom of the 8th, or the top of the 9th, and I get to the bottom of the 9th, I hear Polanco get on base, and I'm like, no way this happens. About to hop on I-5, and Mitch Garver sends that ball out, and I am just screaming. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I'm screaming. I'm losing my mind. You could be like, oh, why are you losing your mind? It's just baseball. It's just a game. Blah, blah, blah. And yes, it is. But this was a special moment. This was a magic moment. My player of the series, I don't want to toot my own horn, but my player of the series was Mitch Garver. He came through first game. He really did. He really, really did. And the last episode really did just get better, as Jorge Polanco would have a fantastic game 2. As I said, that him and the Mitches would be crucial to the series. Then game 3, Mitch Haniger really did lose the game for them. I don't like to say it. I love Mitch. I really do. He basically lost them the game. So you look at the 2 games they won. Big moments from the Mitch Garver and the Jorge Polanco, and then they lose the game, and it's because of another Mitch. It is wild. It really is wild. But back to Mitch Garver. This walk-off gave me shades of the 2022 season. It gave me shades of that team. And you could say, why is that important? You could ask me, why is that important? I'm going to tell you one thing. That 2022 team, anytime they were down by 2-3 runs in the 7th, 8th, 9th innings, you felt like they were going to come back. It was magical. It really, really was. Second half of the season, you felt like they were going to win every game, come back, even if they were down 3 runs in the 9th inning. You thought they were going to come back. You felt like they would. And they did come back from stuff like that. Maybe it wasn't 3 runs every time, but if they were down a run or 2, they came back a lot. It was special. And if this team can get back to that, winning a lot of one-run games, winning games late in the game, using your bullpen to your advantage, using your starters to your advantage, and then coming through with clutch hitting, then this team's going to be a lot of fun, y'all. This team is going to be a lot of fun. Unfortunately, up until that moment, the lineup did strike out 12 times. It just struggled. But with Mitch Garver kind of stealing the show, Bryce Miller had a fantastic start. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, and it was earned. 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. The dude did that all on 17 whiffs against a very good Atlanta Braves team. Fantastic start for Bryce. You needed a bounce back following the Texas start. And while Texas start wasn't terrible, it also wasn't amazing. So to get that bounce back was massive. Moving on to game 2, Luis Castillo. Welcome back, La Piedra, in a massive way. 20 whiffs for Castillo. 7 innings, nothing on the scoreboard. 3 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Castillo is back. He will face the Minnesota Twins at the beginning of next week. But he's back. And he is looking dominant as ever. Truly, truly dominant. There was some clutch hitting in this game. I was at this game. Some clutch hitting, but they did still strike out 11 times. Jorge Polanco with a homer. I did mention that just a minute ago. But Jorge Polanco with a homer. I did miss that. I was watching the little scuffle, brawl, whatever you want to call it, between the Brewers and the Rays. And my, oh my, what in the world is happening there? Like, they're just throwing punches. And all of a sudden, this Jorge Polanco ball is out in the right field seats. And I'm like, whoa, whoa. And then I'm standing up and I'm like, whoa. And then it's like, whoa, whoa. Polanco had a great game. Some slick defensive plays, couple diving plays that were truly fantastic. Mariners lineup struck out 11 times. 3 of those were Julio Rodriguez. And I don't want to talk about Julio Rodriguez. But after 2 pretty solid weeks of hard hit balls, a lot of hits, getting his average up to where it should be, and his slugging still's not there. And I bet it will get there. But 3 strikeouts, just an awful game from Julio. He had a bases loaded opportunity in his other at bat that he didn't strike out in. And he gets a fastball right down the you-know-what, and it's chopped the first base. And I watched him after, and you could see the frustration. He wants to come through for this team, but he's pressing. He's pressing a little bit. Just got to relax. If you're hitting the ball as hard as you are, Julio, you're going to get dingers. You're going to get extra base hits. It will happen. Just got to relax. But since he couldn't break it open with what should be at least a bases clearing, probably double for Julio. The lead was only at 3 as the Mariners entered the 8th inning. Ryan Stanek was called upon and he struggled. 0 command. He loads the bases. They give up a run. They call on Andres Munoz to try and get a 5-out save. First batter, he gets to just roll over a ball few feet from home plate. This is the ball that Cal Raleigh should probably get. But Munoz gets it. And really, in this situation, Andres needs to know he should not throw this ball. He shouldn't throw this ball. He just needs to eat it, and he needs to move on, keep the double play in order for Matt Olson to come up to the plate. But he throws it over Ty France's head at first base. Doesn't get the out, obviously. Run scores, so it's now 3-2. And they walk Olson. They face Marcell Ozuna, who chops one after a pretty lengthy at bat to Dylan Moore, who makes an unbelievable play. I mean, this is not going to be talked about enough, but a truly, truly fantastic play. This is a play that should be on SportsCenter, should be on Quick Pitch, whatever you want. Whatever you want to watch for your baseball highlights, for your sports highlights, this should be there. Because this play was unbelievable. He goes horizontal like an airplane. He slings it to first base just in time to get Ozuna to save the inning, save the game. And the Mariners end up winning 3-2 as Andres Munoz comes up clutch in the bottom of the ninth, or in the top of the ninth. And he goes 1, 2, 3 really quickly there, including a strikeout of Mr. Jarred Kelenic, who I won't lie, I thought he was going yard. I thought he was going to send the ball 400 feet off the glass like it was Cal Raleigh's drought-busting game winner home run. I thought that Jarred Kelenic was going to tie the game there with that, but he didn't. He chases some sliders in the dirt, and Munoz gets the save as the Mariners won 3-2. Series win secured as they head to game 3. And the umpire, yeah, I'm just going to say the umpire. And I'm an umpire now, so I'm going to hate on him as much as I want. But the umpire and Sale combined for 9 strikeouts. Yeah. They also combined for about a run and a quarter in favor, almost a run and a half in favor of the Atlanta Braves in this game. Sale did have 21 whiffs over 5 innings, so he was dominant. The good sign here, Julio Rodriguez, 3 hits, including a double, no strikeouts, 3 hard hit balls. He recovered after the game 2 struggles, and he comes back to who he's been recently. So don't worry there. I think he's going to find a groove here. I could see him hitting one up into the train tracks against the Astros, a couple into the Crawford boxes, hitting some doubles off the big Crawford box wall out there. If he can pull the ball, elevate it a little bit, Julio Rodriguez is going to find success. I've seen him go opposite field in Minute Maid Park how many times already in his career? 4 times, something like that already in his career. So seeing him do something like that would also be really impressive. Let's get into the negatives. Emerson Hancock, 3 1/3 innings. 3 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. Now, only one of the runs was earned as Mitch Haniger made a costly error. Basically, 2 errors. He has 2 balls out there that he should catch, both of which would have ended the inning and avoided all 4 runs that ended up scoring. The Mariners ended up losing this game 5-2, so if you want to do your calculations, if everything score-wise stayed the same, that is a 2-1 victory and a sweep. And this is what's frustrating, because both the Arizona series and this Atlanta series, it felt like they could have swept easily. And winning series is the most important thing, but sweeping is always fantastic, especially against good clubs. And while the Braves lineup struggled, Mariners pitching staff has been unbelievable. I believe it's 18 earned runs in the past 18 starts, something like that. Now, we'll see how long this streak continues, but this is just unbelievable. The offense was not. They were pretty pitiful, but they weren't. They weren't incredibly pitiful, as they did get Sale out pretty freaking early after 5 innings, especially when he's getting 21 whiffs. So that is impressive. I do want to say that. They got to the bullpen, and that was the biggest thing against Sale. You're not going to score a ton of runs. They got a run off of him. All you had to do then was get some little bit more decent pitching, little bit more decent defense, and you had this game. Quick shout out for Trent Thornton, Taylor Saucedo, Tyson Miller, and frickin' Voth, who combined for 5 1/3 scoreless innings, giving up only 2 base runners, 1 hit and 1 walk. Fantastic. They shut the door down, and they gave this team a chance to win this game. Truly impressive. Your player of the series was Jorge Polanco. Fantastic game 2, and he got the 9th inning started in game 1. So I'm just going to give that to Jorge Polanco. Looking fantastic. And then Castillo's going to win your pitcher of the week, as he was dominant. Again, here's the line. 7 innings, no runs, 3 hits, a walk, 7 strikeouts on 20 whiffs on his way to a win. And I didn't think he was going to get 7. I thought he was going to get 6. But he's had about 90 pitches here going into the 7th, and he blows the doors off of them. Gets 7 shut out. Fantastic start. Standing ovation for him. Much deserved. Now, let's get into the Houston series, shall we? Ronel Blanco, George Kirby, game 1. You have got to win at least 2 or 3 here in Houston. That's all I'm going to say. Keep winning series. Keep winning series. George Kirby, Ronel Blanco. Let's talk Blanco. He will struggle with walks. He can struggle with walks a little bit. They are going to have to be incredibly patient, and they cannot bail these pitchers out this series. That is going to be the biggest thing when facing these Astros starters. If you bail them out, if you chase and you get them outs, if you give them free outs, you're going to struggle. You have to get your runners on. You have to make them throw pitches and get into this very much so struggling Astros bullpen. Get into it. Blanco is going to be mostly fastball change slider, all those about above 15%. Change is probably his best producing pitch. The slider and the cutter will be used against righties, as Blanco is a righty himself. My questions of Blanco are, his batting average on balls in play has been 173. That is not sustainable. In my notes it says sustainable question mark. That's not sustainable. No way is that sustainable. His whip is also at 0.92. That's also not sustainable. He is bound for a start where he's going to get blown up. When you take out his first two starts, it's a whole lot worse. Let's talk FIP. 347 FIP. 3.47, however you want to say it. 347 FIP, which, if you don't know, is similar to ERA, except it only takes into account what the pitcher can control. So home runs, hit by pitches, walks, stuff like that. That is what it's taking into account. So 347 FIP. Now, when you take out those first two starts, the biggest difference is going to be his batting average on balls in play. 283 batting average on balls in play compared to, on his season, 173. That is a difference, if I've ever seen it. Over 100-point difference. So, what does that tell me? It's not sustainable. The dude is bound for a start where he just kind of gets lit up, gets some lucky hits, and he doesn't give up a lot of hard hits. And he's leaving on 88% of hitters or base runners right now. That's also not sustainable. That's not going to last. I think the Mariners can get to him, especially if they can get him to walk you. If you can get Blanco to walk you, you could do okay in this game. And I think this game is probably the most crucial. You're going to need the George Kirby to show up, and you're going to need to get Blanco out of the game. If you can get Blanco out early, get in this pen already. Astros haven't had an off day in a minute. Their bullpen's already somewhat taxed. I haven't looked at what it's been today, but heading into today, let's look at their bullpen. Hader threw 33 Tuesday. Presley is down today. He probably didn't pitch. Abreu threw 21 a few days ago. Rafael Montero threw 26 2 days ago. 11 on Wednesday. Sean Dubin threw 21 on Wednesday. The dudes that are probably, if they didn't get used today, Seth Martinez, Taylor Scott, Brandon Balak, those are going to be the dudes that are going to pitch probably first game. And Hader, if he didn't get used today. Also Abreu, if he didn't get used today. They're going to be careful with Presley. Get into this bullpen. Get those dudes to throw a bunch of pitches early. If you can do that in the first game and then do the same, get into this and get into them against Valdez and Brown, then you're looking good. Win this first game. Force Blanc out of the game after 4 or 5 innings. Let's win this game, move on, get into the bullpen, tax the bullpen, win the game, get a great start from Kirby. Let's go. Game 2, Logan Gilbert, Framber Valdez. We know Valdez very well. Very well. This is one of the rare times we're going to look at stats against the pitcher. We're going to look at Dylan Moore, Jorge Polanco, who have crushed Valdez. Moore has had 18 at-bats. Polanco has had 14, and they have crushed Valdez. Truly, they have crushed him. All right? So those are your two dudes that I think, if they can get onto it today, you could see some fun stuff. Now, will they be able to? Who frickin' knows, man? Who frickin' knows? Baseball is the most unpredictable thing. But let's talk about Framber Valdez. He's going to try and get the ball on the ground. He's given up some exit velos, but he is heavy ground ball percentage. Heavy ground ball percentage. He's going to try and play with your speeds. You know this dude. Sinker, changeup, curveball, slider. That is his mix. Those are the pitches he's going to throw. He has not given up a homer yet, and he doesn't give up a lot in his career. But when you're looking at X stats, he's been pretty good. 296 expected slug, so he's not expected to give up a lot. Again, when you're giving up a lot of ground balls, you're not going to give up a lot of homers. So we're going to look at the batting average on balls in play, because when you're getting ground balls, that's what's going to matter. 364 batting average on balls in play. He's only had 3 starts as he got injured after his second start, and he came back with a start against Colorado last week. So he could be on a pitch limit. This is what I was talking about with Blanco. Get Blanco out early, tax the bullpen, and then get some big innings in terms of pitch count against Valdez and tax him early. Because he's not going to be allowed to throw a lot of pitches in a couple innings. You can get him to throw 20-something pitches in an inning. Not only is he going to have to come out early, but they're going to have to think about his workload per inning now. Because he can't have that much. So they got to be patient. They got to make him throw pitches. His FIP is 268, so not... To be honest, that's pretty good. His WHIP has been 127, which is about where he's been in his career. So again, not a lot there. But the batting average on balls in play is where it's interesting. He has room to get better. But if hits are going to get through, he's going to give up runs. You got to force him to walk you. You can force him to walk you. It's going to be the same in all these games. I'm going to say this for most games, but get on base, force him to throw pitches. Game 3. Hunter Brown, Bryce Miller. Hunter Brown versus Bryce Miller. Barrel percentage is about the only thing that Brown has been good at. 2.6%. He has struggled heavily with walks and chase, so be patient. This is another thing. Dude hasn't made it past 6 innings in 5 of his 6 starts. He's made it through the 6th inning 1 time. Weird thing about Brown, he has reverse splits, which means right-handed hitters have been better against him than left-handed hitters, and he's faced mostly left-handed hitters, and they've also been very good against him. He's giving up almost 2 homers per 9, which is ridiculous. So this is the game I think you could look at and you could say, oh, can we get Jorge Polanco out on one? Can Julio Rodriguez get his this game? Can you get Mitch Garver to get one on this game? Can you get Ty France to get one on this game? Who can you get to get a homer on this game? Because I think you're going to get a couple. If I were to place a bet, I think Julio gets one on this game. I think he's going to find his stride, and I think he's very close. He had the one bad series in Game 2, one bad game in Game 2 of the series, last series, but I think he's close. Brown has had a 2.22 WHIP, so he's giving up over 2 base runners an inning, which again is high. 444 batting average on balls in play. Dudes are getting hits. When they're putting it in play, it's getting through and it's finding some grass. Or it's finding seats. Opponents have hit 366 against him this year. Brown has been crushed. A lot of that has been due to his fastball and his knuckle curve, so look for his usage on those. His other pitches have been kind of but you look at those 2 pitches, and if you can get him onto those 2 pitches, you're going to be good. You've got to force him to walk you. Force him to throw strikes. He's given up a ton of line drives. He's been almost majority line drives this year, which is kind of ridiculous. He's giving up line drives at about 25% of the time. He's been about a 40% ground ball pitcher, 45, and fly ball has been about 23, 24. So, he's giving up a lot of line drives, which I think bodes well when you're playing in the stadium and you've got the Crawford boxes there, which again, I think you could get a Julio line drive homer into the Crawford boxes in this game in one of his first couple at bats, and you could see a lot of fun stuff happening. His split has been the only pitch he's producing much whiff on, so look for that usage. He hasn't used it as a strikeout pitch. I would not be surprised if he starts to in this game, but we will see. Moving on to Mahal's Mariner of the series. Last series, Mitch Garver was my Mariner. He hit a walk-off home run in Game 1. Who will I pick this go-around? Let's start with an honorable mention in Julio Rodriguez, who I think is going to have a great series, actually. I really do. But he's not my Mariner. My Mariner is Jorge Polanco. Jorge Polanco. Let me tell you why. I think he's going to get a homer into Crawford boxes, at least one. I think he's going to play well in the stadium. He's going to get one out to right as well. He's been good against Framber Valdez, which is another reason I think he's going to get one. I think he's going to get one in Game 2, send one out to right field against Valdez, and you could see Jorge Polanco being the MVP of the series, as I believe. Now, my keys to the series. I've talked about this enough, but force the relievers to throw innings. Force them to throw pitches. Force the starting pitcher to throw pitches. Force them out of the game quick. Be patient. In terms of what you can control, strong bullpen, strong pitching, get quality starts. Get into the Houston bullpen. Those are things you can control. A little bit you can control. Get some early runs and add on. Don't let it stay stagnant. If you're going to get a couple runs early, don't let it be 2 runs in the entire game. You got to hit. This rotation is not going to be a 1.58 over their past 20 games. That's not going to be them the entire season. As much as I wish it would, but you're not going to give up a run and a half on average. Giving up a run every 6 innings is not going to happen the entire season. It's just not. I wish it would, but it's not going to happen. They've got to not let these starters set into the games. I think this is the biggest thing. Make these starting pitchers uncomfortable. Force the bullpen to come in early and make them uncomfortable. Make the Astros uncomfortable. And let's go win the series. Anyways, thank you all so much for listening. As always, go Mariners. Follow me at Diamond and Deep on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube also if you're not watching there. Thank you so much. Go Mariners. Peace, y'all.